minutes.
Mr. Speaker, before turning to this motion to recommit, I have a serious subject I wanted to address. A number of members have been concerned about the increased assessment that's hit community banks from the FDIC, in part because of failures to which they did not contribute. Today, the chair of the FDIC, Sheila Bair, has written to our Senate counterparts to say that, in effect, if we go ahead with the increase in FDIC borrowing authority, some of that is in this bill, it would be improved on in the Senate in ways that we agree with, but if she gets the increased borrowing authority, a process that begins in this bill, she will substantially reduce that assessment on the community banks. So voting for this bill will be an important step towards reducing the assessments of the community banks. And I ask unanimous consent that this letter be put in the record. Now, as to the motion...
Without objection. So ordered.
As to the motion to recommit, the gentleman from Georgia slightly underdescribed his amendment. Understatement is not his usual métier, but he alluded to it today. He said it would prevent, as I recall, page 3, section C, help for any irresponsible borrower. No, it prevents mortgage assistance to any borrower, responsible or not, no matter what the cause. This proposal simply makes it impossible to carry out any mortgage foreclosure relief. One of the things that the president said was we would go to the servicers, who now can get a payment for a foreclosure, and we would say under this bill we would authorize a payment if they did a modification instead of a foreclosure. This amendment says no, that can't happen. We say here that we will work with the borrowers to reduce the amount that they are entitled to receive under the contract on the grounds that they would be better off avoiding foreclosure. It would have the federal government work with them in it. This would make it impossible. The gentleman from Georgia kind of made clear his general position when he began by denouncing the part of this bill that deals with bankruptcy. Now, of course, this amendment, as he's offered it, doesn't deal with bankruptcy. That's why I'm here instead of my colleague from Michigan. But the purpose is clear. His view is that there should not be a federal program to try to diminish mortgage foreclosures. Here's the point. Diminution of mortgage foreclosures clearly has a compassionate aspect. Not surprisingly, that has less appeal in some parts of this House than others. But there is also an enlightened self-interest to it. Irresponsible subprime mortgage lending and borrowing and underwriting and securitizing a whole lot of guilty parties was the biggest single cause of the financial crisis we are in. The continued cascade of foreclosures and consequent deterioration of asset prices is a major reason why we have continued economic deterioration. There is broad agreement that until we begin to stem the tide of foreclosures, we can't stop it all, and we're not trying to stop it all. Not everybody who's being foreclosed upon can be helped or should be helped. But until we do a great deal to reduce this, you will not get an end to the current crisis. So this is a direct shot. And now I know I do not attribute this to the gentleman from Georgia, but there is, for instance, a noted commentator on public affairs, Mr. Limbaugh, who has a certain number of fans on that side, and if they aren't fans, they're afraid to say so. He has asked that the president fail. Well, the effect of this amendment would to give Mr. Limbaugh his wish, because if you cripple the effort to reduce mortgage foreclosure, you cripple the effort to get out of the economic slump we are in. So I understand what some people think happen. They do not want President Obama and a Democratic Congress to get any credit for helping to reduce our economic situation. I understand that, but they're taking a lot of innocent people hostage. They have a right to be very partisan and go after us. But don't do it at the expense of an awful lot of Americans who would lose their homes and of an economic situation that is deteriorating. So I reiterate that defeating this motion and passing this bill will be an important step towards, among other things, reducing those FDIC assessments, and we have the word of Sheila Bair, and it will be a responsible way of trying to reduce mortgage foreclosure. It's to the benefit of the individual, it's to the benefit of the communities that are suffering from this, it's the benefit of other homeowners whose property values are deteriorated by foreclosure, and alas, I must concede to my Republican friends, It might help the president in his effort to improve the economy. I apologize for that, but I hope you can put up with it.
Gentleman's time has expired. Without objection, the previous question is ordered.